Hello. So I mentioned the other day the show What Would You Do? And I've been on a bit of a roll. I've been watching a lot of the episodes. And I reiterate what I said. I give the show credit. I think they really do show every conceivable angle. I've just watched two episodes where they were things that I've always envisaged happening, funny enough. One was someone asking people to mind their laptop, and then a girl spills coffee all over it. Whenever I've been in Starbucks or another coffee shop and it's very busy, I just sometimes I think I'm going to do it, so I kind of get my cup and kind of squeeze it around the back of the laptop so that that doesn't happen because sometimes the tables aren't that big. But anyway, give the show full credit for covering just about every scenario possible. I mean, really, there must be about 100 episodes. So the latest one I've seen is a rude barista in Portland, Oregon. And basically, the guy is being really not bothered about serving people. He's very blasé, he's very rude about it. And they use the same actor, interestingly enough, for a customer who's rude to the barista. Anyway, it got me thinking about, and I left a few comments there, got me thinking about the issue of customer service and what is good customer service. Obviously, you want someone to be efficient, right? You want them to get your order right, you want them to pay attention. Um, there are a few things I noticed because I have speculated on the possibility of opening up my own coffee shop. Now I need to do research. I need to go about finding out well how to go about that. I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon or not, but I've worked on a few jobs which involves kind of working with the public um, in various fields. I've been a waiter a few times. I worked in a shop for over a year, albeit a charity shop, but nevertheless working on the till. And so I've had a bit of experience. Here in Sunderland, it's like anywhere, places vary. Some places are polite, they have good rapport with customers, and they get, the welcoming. Other places, not so much. I'm not going to name any business on this video just because it's not, I don't think it's really appropriate for the video exactly. But let's just say there are some places in the city that are not exactly the most polite businesses out there, and I have a problem with that. I've never understood rude people. I've never understood why people think it's okay to be totally rude to strangers. There's just a few things that if I was running a business, I would insist on. I've been in shops where people are chatting away to their colleagues, and I know what it was like when you have long days and it's a bit quiet. You get into conversations, and that's totally understandable. But when a customer's waiting patiently and you're just ignoring them, that's just plain rude. Um, I think, and I don't know how other people would interpret this, but I think body language is very important. Some people have this thing, they will say, well, for example, in a coffee shop, the only job of a barista is to serve you the coffee, and that's it. I'm not sure I agree with that. What I mean to say is, I think it's more than that. I think it's more than just getting the order right and taking the money and giving them the right change. I think it's actually about rapport because people go to coffee shops to relax. They go for the environment. Now, I've been to a Starbucks before where one of the baristas that was on duty, he wasn't rude exactly. I mean, he took my order. There was no problem. He got the order right, but he just had a facial expression that was like he did not want to be there. Like, I sort of got the impression it was like asking him to do a chore. And so that's what I mean by bad body language. I think some people, whether they're not aware of it or whether they just don't care, I don't know. But put it this way, I wouldn't employ someone like that. I think it's very important to just smile, just have a good rapport. It's not about putting on this big facade and being nicey and getting into a long-winded conversation. But I do strongly believe that body language is important. So if someone looks unhappy and they look bored, customers are going to feel awkward because they're going to feel like, well, okay. Um, and I think it really matters in somewhere like a coffee shop. So for me, that sort of thing is very important. I've been in some shops where people have just been plain rude. There was a guy in Newcastle, and I'm not going to name the business, but I was looking for a light bulb for my lava lamp, they're pretty hard to find. It's not they're very specialist, they're very specific size. And I was just going past this hardware place in Newcastle, and I thought, okay, well, I'll just make an inquiry. And he didn't have it, and that was that. And I thought, okay, we'll go to the next place. But then he asked a follow up question. He said, well, it would help if you knew exactly the type of bulb. And I was like, okay, I'm just asking. And I was annoyed at myself afterwards because I didn't really, I kind of took it. And in retrospect, I think, well, I'm only asking a question. There's no need to be. And he got very cocky and self righteous, like it would help if you know what sort of bulb you're looking for. And his whole mannerism was just very sarcastic and very just bloody rude. I've never understood that. I've never understood people who cannot communicate with others in a civil way. No, I get it. Everyone has long days. Some people, maybe they've had some sort of personal issue with a friend or a partner. But I really think if you're working in somewhere like a coffee shop, you know, rapport matters because people go there to relax and they're going to sit down. You're being paid to work there and serve them. So for goodness sake, just smile. It's not difficult because I mean, the smile thing, people might think that's a little bit pedantic, but I don't think so. I think if someone can serve you and they get the order right and there's no issues, but if they look miserable, that to me has an effect. I always feel a bit awkward and it doesn't, I'm not saying it happens all the time. Most baristas are polite, they're warm. It's not about, putting on a facade and pretending to be your best friend, but just look like you want to be there, or at least you're okay with being there. If you look miserable, that's going to, in my opinion, it has an effect. And I've experienced it a few times in various establishments. So let me know your thoughts. I do hope one day I can open my own coffee shop. I would be very fair to my staff. I would treat them very fairly, but I would insist that they get, I would actually do a role play. I'd pretend to be a customer and see how they approach it, and they might well put on a whole thing, and make it up. But I would also watch them as they're working, just to see that they get that rapport. I think it's very important because what I find is if you go into a place and someone has a really good rapport, if they make a few mistakes, it's a lot easier to communicate and say, "Oh, look, sorry, but I actually ordered this." If someone's very cold and I mean, it's not that I would definitely, say, look, I'm sorry you made a mistake here, but I think it creates a whole dynamic that just isn't necessary. So it's the easiest thing in the world, just smile. Just, make people feel that they're welcome. Because the point I would make is though the baristas are the face of the place, so the manager could be back in an office or something, but the baristas are the face of a coffee shop, so it really matters that they get that right. And I'm not coming from any point of I've been a waiter 3 times, so I've been on the front line of this sort of stuff. I know what it's like, and I certainly wasn't the world's best waiter. There were a few occasions I made some mistakes, but one thing I always really was determined to do was be polite to customers and welcome them. That I felt was very important because it's the old story of treat people how you want to be treated. And it's just about being a decent human being. Just, yeah, let me know your thoughts.